Alrighty, welcome back. We're going to try something a little different here today. We are going to scrap this motor off of this dishwasher. This is one of the crummy kind. And we are going to see if this is good copper or copper coated aluminum. And we're just going to film this step by step. I see there's a lot of scrapping channels, and why not? So let me set up the other camera and let's get this motor off. Okay, I'll admit I've never taken one of these off before, and it must still be attached on the inside, and we'll check that out in a second. I'm having the hardest time getting these screws off. They're all the same size, but the driver I was using fit in 3 of them and didn't fit in the 4th one, so I used everything imaginable until I finally just went and got the correct bit and got that off. So that's what was happening there, in case you were wondering. So let's open it up and see how that on earth that's attached. Okay, so that's what it takes to get that off. That whole contraption that was on down there, and that looks like the main shaft from the motor going all the way through. Chances are pretty high you're going to be able to just grab this and pull, and there. Now we got it. So, now we got the motor. Now we just got to take the screws off and see what we got inside there. Okay, so now that we finally got the motor off, it's time to take it apart. Looks like we have a top cover and a bottom cover, just held on by hex screws, tapped straight into the thick metal part there. And this black part here is rubberized something or other. We'll see if we can pry that off. Doesn't seem to be held on by any kind of retainer. Might have to heat it up, might have to cut it. I don't know what we're going to do. But at this point, I think I will talk about the elephant in the room. I know that a lot of you are probably saying, there's no way that's copper. And you decide for yourself. I etched a little bit of it here, and I can't even really tell myself. Not yet. Of course, once you get it all out, you'll be able to tell. It does look like it is copper-coated aluminum, but the procedure is the same. And that's what we're filming here, is extracting the copper or copper-coated aluminum out of this motor, and then we'll have our hands on it. So at this point, we will clamp the motor into this table and see if we can pry off that black part. Okay, so here we go. That rubber piece came right off. It was no problem whatsoever with a little crowbar. And it turns out to be a pretty good screw holder, doesn't it? So yeah, when you're taking something apart, you always want to count the screws and make sure that you have as many screws as came off, because I could see very clearly there was 8 of them. So I'm going to make sure that I ended with 8. Otherwise, the 8th or the 7th one is 7th and 8th are in your tires. So at this point, we're going to just cut this off. On a smaller motor, you can use clippers, but I'm going to use an angle grinder with a steel cutting disc to cut the whole top off, and then the bottom should push through, and so you'll have 2 big pieces of copper or aluminum or whatever that is, and we'll be able to see it very clearly when it's cut with the grinder. And then we have a piece of steel here, and we have a piece of aluminum and a piece of mixed, and you probably, you decide what you want to do with that at the scrapyard. But don't throw anything away. Make sure you get money for something, for everything. Anyway, at this point, we're going to clamp this into the table and go get the angle grinder and cut, well, first thing we're going to do is cut the string off of there. And then we're going to cut the, we could cut the string afterwards. Yeah, let's do it afterwards, I guess. So next scene will be the grinder cutting the top of the disc off, the copper. Okay, so that didn't go completely smooth. I'm going to have to find a better way to cut all the way through. As you can see, the edge of the grinder was rubbing up against there and it couldn't go any deeper. But he got it, and I had to finish it up with clippers. So here's our first really good look at the cross section. And I think that what we're looking at is aluminum. Not completely sure. You guys tell me. This is my first motor of this size. So far everything has been just a regular tabletop fan or a tower fan. And they were definitely pure copper. Looking really close here. Not sure how close it'll let me get. I guess that's it. Gosh, the inside has a kind of a copper color, but I don't know if that's because the outer casing went through to the cut. I don't know, you tell me. I'll put this in a separate box and y'all tell me. I can't see very well, and so this is going to be a challenge for me getting into this hobby. And that's what we got. I don't know, that's got a kind of a copper reflection to it in the sun, doesn't it? I think it might be copper. Anyway, we'll keep going. We'll pull the rest of this out the other side, which I hope is going to come out easy. And we'll see what we got. Okay, so that pretty much wraps it up. In the second half of it there, I did finally remember to put a catch tray under there after picking up about 100 tiny little pieces of copper that came through when I was using the grinder. But this is all in one piece. After doing that, we got a giant handful of, I think it is copper, looking really close here. I think that's copper, but it is what it is. If it's copper, we'll get good money. If it's aluminum, we'll just get regular money. And then the steel part there, we'll just get pretty much the lowest money, isn't it? But it is money. I'll take all those little plastic things out of there, and I'll cut all the string off of there, and I'll go in here and I'll fish out. We're gonna have to get all that string out of there. What do you think, guys? Do you leave the string on before you cut it off, or do you take it off before you cut it off? I think it probably, since it all came apart anyway, it's probably best to take the string off before you even cut. And that's my guess. And then on the other end, just to keep it contained, maybe leave that part on. It's just a guess. Anyway, this is a kick. I enjoyed that. I'm going to be doing a lot more of this. This channel is going to be, there's going to be some scrapping going on in this channel, because I watch a lot of the scrapping channels. I got the Scrap It All channel is my favorite, and this is how I got the idea. And you know what? Why not? This is winter. I've got lots of time on my hands and a lot of broken appliances. So I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for quite a bit more. Let me know if what you're interested in. I do have a big pool pump motor that will probably be next. So stay tuned. All right, see ya.